What if everything you've ever done, every decision, every choice, every dream, was never really yours? What if free will is nothing but an illusion? This is not just a provocative question. It's the haunting truth whispered by one of the most radical thinkers of the Enlightenment, Baron Holbach, a man forgotten by many, yet a philosopher who dared to strip away the comforting veil of human freedom and expose us to a brutal, mechanical universe. Holbach argued something most people can barely stomach, that you never chose who you are. You didn't choose your birth, your parents, your genetics, your culture, your education, your fears, your desires, your environment. And if you didn't choose these things, how can you claim to truly choose anything? Think about it. When you say, "I decided," what really happened? Was it you? Or was it a chain of causes stretching back through time, causes you didn't control, leading you step by step toward what felt like your decision? Baron Holbach believed that the idea of free will is nothing but a story humans tell themselves to feel powerful, when in reality, we are machines of flesh, moved by forces far beyond our grasp. And if this is true, then what does that mean for morality, for responsibility, for the meaning of life itself? Stay with me, because in the next minutes, we'll peel back the layers of this unsettling truth. The philosophy that denies your freedom, yet offers a clarity that could transform the way you see existence. Before diving into the philosophy, we need to meet the man who dared to declare war on free will. Paul Henri Thierry, Baron Holbach, was an 18th century French philosopher and radical materialist. While many of his Enlightenment contemporaries, like Rousseau and Voltaire, spoke about liberty, progress, and the soul, Holbach took a darker, more uncompromising path. He believed there is no God, no soul, no immaterial self. To him, everything was matter in motion, governed by the same natural laws that move the planets and shape the tides. And because humans are matter, brains, bodies, nervous systems, we too are enslaved by these laws. For Holbach, freedom was a dangerous illusion. He wrote in his groundbreaking work, The System of Nature, man is connected to universal nature and submitted to the necessary and immutable laws that she imposes on all beings that she contains. This was not just philosophy, it was blasphemy. In Holbach's Paris, to deny God and free will was to stand against religion, morality, and social order itself. His books were banned, burned, condemned, but still his ideas spread underground, planting seeds of radical thought. So why should we in the 21st century care about a forgotten radical from 250 years ago? Because today, science, from neuroscience to psychology, is beginning to whisper the same thing Holbach shouted, that your sense of freedom is an illusion crafted by your brain. Let's test Holbach's claim. Think about the last big decision you made. Maybe it was choosing your career path, or walking away from a relationship, or even just picking what to eat for dinner. It felt like you were free, right? like you weighed the pros and cons, exercised your willpower, and made a choice. But look closer. Why did you lean toward one option instead of the other? Because of your past experiences, because of your personality, because of subconscious desires you didn't consciously choose. Your career, influenced by childhood encouragements or discouragements, by opportunities given to you or denied. Your relationships, shaped by attachment patterns rooted in your earliest bonds. Your dinner, controlled by taste preferences, cravings, habits, maybe even what advertisements you were exposed to that week. Each choice was the effect of countless causes stretching back through time, causes you didn't control. This is what Holbach meant when he said we are like cogs in a cosmic machine. You move, you think, you decide, but every movement is pushed by forces outside your command. And modern science agrees. Experiments show that your brain often makes decisions milliseconds before you become conscious of them. By the time you feel like you've chosen, your neurons have already fired. So ask yourself again, are you free? Or are you simply a witness to a script already written? Here's the terrifying question. If free will is an illusion, are we still responsible for our actions? Holbach's answer was sharp. Yes and no. We are not responsible in the sense of being ultimate authors of our choices, but we are responsible in the sense that our actions have consequences for ourselves and others. Imagine someone commits a crime. If they had no true free will, are they guilty? Holbach would argue they are guilty in the same way a hurricane is guilty for destruction. Not because they chose it, but because they are the cause. This changes how we view justice. Instead of punishment for evil, Holbach saw the need for reform, education, prevention. If criminals are products of environment, then change the environment, and you change the person. Does this sound radical? It is. And yet it's an idea echoed in modern debates on criminal justice, psychology, and rehabilitation. Holbach was centuries ahead of his time, daring to say that morality must be built not on free will, but on understanding cause and effect. So maybe, just maybe, stripping away the illusion of free will doesn't destroy morality. It rebuilds it on a more honest foundation. But why do humans cling so desperately to free will? Because it gives us comfort. Free will tells us we are in control, that our destiny is ours to shape, that we can rise above circumstance. It tells us we are heroes of our own story. Take that away, and life suddenly feels cold, mechanical, meaningless. If everything is determined, why try? Why hope? Holbach knew this despair, but he also believed that embracing determinism can liberate us, because once you accept that everything has a cause, you stop blaming yourself for things you never chose. You stop hating yourself for your flaws, your failures, your past. Instead, you begin to see yourself as part of a larger natural order. You start focusing not on what you should have done differently, but on how to understand the causes shaping you and how to reshape them. In a way, the death of free will opens the door to a more compassionate life. Toward yourself, toward others, toward the world. What makes Holbach's philosophy so chilling today is how modern science has caught up with him. Neuroscience shows us that decisions are made in the brain before consciousness kicks in. Psychology shows how trauma, culture, and upbringing dictate behavior. Genetics reveals how much of our temperament is wired into us. Even physics, with its relentless laws of cause and effect, supports Holbach's vision. A universe where everything follows necessity. Of course, debates continue. Some scientists argue for randomness, quantum indeterminacy, or compatibilist forms of freedom. But the core message rings louder than ever. The you making choices is less free than you think. Holbach may have been dismissed as extreme in the 18th century, but today, his radical truth feels eerily prophetic. So what happens when you accept Holbach's forgotten truth? You start living differently. You stop clinging to guilt and resentment. You stop worshiping the illusion of absolute freedom. Instead, you focus on shaping conditions, causes, and influences, because that's where real power lies. Want to change your life? Don't try to will yourself into being different. Instead, change your environment. Change your habits. Change the people around you. These changes alter the chain of causes, which alters you. Want to change society? Don't just preach morality. Reshape the systems, the structures, the conditions that produce people's actions. This is Holbach's wisdom. Freedom is not about being uncaused. It's about understanding causes and working with them. So, is free will an illusion? According to Baron de Holbach, yes. According to much of modern science, probably. But here's the paradox. Even if your choices are determined, they are still yours. You are the chain of causes. You are the storm, the fire, the river. You are nature, acting through human form. Holbach's forgotten truth does not diminish you. It redefines you. You are not a free-floating soul outside the universe. You are the universe itself, conscious of its motion. So the next time you say, "I choose," remember, you are not choosing outside of nature. You are nature choosing itself through you. And maybe that's even more powerful than free will.